All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to talk about confidence and how you can get it instantaneous. So what I want you to do is to go ahead and put your hands together like this, and your palms are together, and you're going to rotate around to your right, and you're going to rotate as far as you can go, and then wherever you stop, I want you to mark it on the wall or in the room, wherever you're at, and just kind of pick a point wherever you stop. So rotate around as far as you can go, and stop, and you marked it. Now what I want you to do is to close your eyes, and now you're just going to visualize yourself doing it. Okay? So close your eyes and imagine yourself doing the same movement, and as you rotate around in your mind, you're going back and you're going farther past the point of where you stopped just a second ago. You can see yourself moving much farther past that mark, much farther, and then you keep going as far as you can go. Okay, and then we come back. And so now I want you to do it for real for the second time. So hands together for real, eyes are open, and again, now I want you to rotate back as far as you can go and do it one more time. Far back, far back, far back, far back, as far as you can go, and stop. And if you notice that second time, you did it much farther. And that really just demonstrates the power of, where your mind goes, the body follows. And it's just a quick reminder, and it's an easy technique to just know that we limit ourselves. And just by doing that little visualization after the first time, when you did it for the second time, most of us went much farther. Probably more than 40% farther. So here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what you can do, and it's something that I use when I took exams or even use in social situations. We pick a character, and again, what I say, I'd always call myself Neil, which is my last name. I pick a character, and sometimes if you have a role model, or you have someone that you admire, or just even a movie character, and I also use kind of the Daniel Craig James Bond, because he was like just a cool, smooth character that always, again, he always got the girl and always could handle a difficult situation. So I would picture myself or picture him as though I were him in the difficult situation. But I would look at the key words of, his courage, his, how he handled himself in terms of the anxiety piece. So what I did is I would go through 5 different words, and usually when I work with people on this, we would pick words that are meaningful to them in that situation. And usually we'd always kind of base it off the 5 big personality traits, which are the openness, the conscientiousness, the extroversion, the agreeableness, and the neuroticism, that OCEAN acronym, and then apply them to whatever we're kind of going through. But for simplicity's sake, and sometimes you can muscle test people to find the more appropriate words. But for when it comes to having the instantaneous confidence, when it comes to like an exam, I'm looking at the word courage. Okay, so I want you to think of, again, use a visualization on this one. When you think of the word courage, and if you had one of those like stereo knobs, a big knob that had like a 0 to 10 kind of button, where you could turn the volume up or turn the volume down. If you could say in terms of courage, how you feel in the moment of exams, where do you think you fall? All right? If you were to turn it on a scale of 0 to 10, where do you think you fall? And if you have low courage, you might put yourself at a 3 or a 4. So where do you think yours would be at? Kind of visualize that. Okay? Now think about where you want to be. Okay? Where do you want that dial to be? In terms of courage, you want to be up there, I should never speak for you, but when I think of myself in a test situation, when it comes to courage, I want to be at a 9 or a 10, right? I'm going to be up there. So in my mind, I'm going to turn that dial and leave it right there on a 9 or a 10. And then I might come into, the anxiety piece. I'm nervous in the exam, right? The anxiety piece. Where do you think, I ask myself and I visualize, where's that dial right now when it comes to the anxiety, when I think about taking a difficult exam or a difficult situation? And I would say that anxiety piece is pretty much, right now it's not, because I'm making this video and something that I enjoy, but in an exam situation, man, my anxiety is probably, I remember when I first started doing this exams for the medical stuff, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus. So imagine it there, and then turn it to where you think it should be, turning the volume down, moving the handle in your mind, turning it down and down, and you're getting it down to a 1, a 2, or wherever you want to set that dial. So move the dial and then push it there. And then, if I was going through the other big five criteria, whether it's the, the openness, that is more of the courage. The conscientiousness is like, I'm here to do a good job. I'm here to do it now. And you can choose the word that you want with that. And then when it comes to extroversion, that's just more of a social piece. And, I use that one in, how would they handle certain social situations, whether it's talking to others. And so, let me see, there's openness, conscientious, agreeableness. When it comes to agreeableness, a lot of us are different on that one. I like to say, here's who I am, these are my opinions, and I'm not going to compromise my integrity for others. So even though I can work well in a team, I'm not going to be Mr. Agreeable just to be agreeable. I'm going to, sometimes it's going to be disagreeable. So that one might not apply to test taking and stuff like that, but it is one of the big five. So pick your words that you write them out. Pick three words, 5 words, figure out where you want them on the dial. Now here's where I would kind of come in, and if I was working with you, in person, this is where I would really just lean in and say, you take a hammer and you knock the shit out of that thing. You just beat those dials to where when they're turned to that where you want that setting, you just knock the bleepity bleep out of it. Okay, and yeah, I mean, I shouldn't cuss on that, but it's really, that's, to me, that's, gosh, I want to emphasize that point. You just go ahead and knock the stuff out of that thing. And what I want to emphasize is keep them in that position, right? It's a great visualization technique. Now, a second ago when we did that, where we moved around, the visualization alone really kept us, it made such a huge difference. And I'm telling you, when you get into an exam, when you get into a social situation, you can kind of use this. Now, sometimes what I think, because I've been there, I've been in a tough situation, test taking, to where I was like, all right, you got to bring it down, get back on the focus, And I usually use one dial, in my mind. I'm thinking, all right, there's one dial, let's bring it on down. Right now I'm about a 7. I need to come down to a 5. I perform best at a 5 when it comes to the anxiety piece. And so I can just imagine myself turning that dial down. And it gives you something, it'll distract you slightly to remove you away from the anxiety. So, it's all about just, how can I handle these difficult situations, and using the visualization piece is a key factor, and I can't stress that enough. So again, do the thing, do the movement thing. You can just prove visualization really does help. And then when you can pick out those keywords that are good for you, and for me, courage, have that in, I tend to use the more positive words, and not, when it comes to anxiety, I could dial it down during the exam because it would come up. But when I'm creating this character per se, this Neil, I tend to use the more positive words, like, I'm trying to think of what I would, technically what I would use now, but, again, it keeps going. Courage, confidence, where would I put confidence on the dial? Sometimes I need to move it up, right? And if you do that, I promise you, you're going to get better, and it's a great technique. Now, if this was a helpful video, just comment below. If you want more of a deep dive on how we can do this, I can even maybe get some people to work with and do more of a, technically a live demonstration on it. But give it a try, guys. I think you'll find it helpful. And, as always, it's just about being better today than I was yesterday. And, keep moving forward. So hope it was helpful, guys.